Hello everyone, it's currently like midnight the next day. I don't know why I've randomly decided to film this now. I'm about to go to bed. James has gone away. He's gone up to Manchester to stay with some family and also to watch them play. And so we found out yesterday, and then this morning James has gone away for 4 days. I'm away tomorrow on a brand trip. It's just for one night. It's with Boots, and my plus one is Ellie, who, as you guys know if you've watched me for years, Ellie's my best friend in the world, and I cannot see a way around not telling her tomorrow, because one, I feel like I'm just gonna, I need to tell someone. We had a chat about this and me and James have decided that we want to tell our families at Christmas. But anyway, I can't think of any way that I can go to this Boots event tomorrow and not tell Ellie. So yeah, by Christmas I'll either be like 10 weeks or 11 weeks pregnant. I'm hoping we can get like a 10-week early scan just so that we have, you know, check that everything's okay, because I know that the regular scan is at 12 weeks and you're supposed to wait until 12 weeks to tell people. I'm struggling to understand how we're gonna get through Christmas where there's so much like gooey cheese, like camembert. I don't think you're supposed to have camembert. My dad is planning on cooking beef for Christmas because we don't really like turkey, but I love rare beef. And how am I gonna tell my dad randomly like, oh yeah, could you do mine well done? He's gonna be like, what the hell? And everyone will immediately get suspicious, and also with like no drinking or anything. I'm really gonna struggle at my brother's wedding next week to try and hide it, and I'm hoping that my symptoms don't kick in by then. Currently the only symptom that I have is that I'm feeling quite tired, and I've had like a little bit of cramping, which I was a little bit worried about, but apparently is quite normal. Oh, and I've been so hungry today. I've been so hungry like the past week, though when Googling, the hunger's not really supposed to kick in yet, so I don't know if that's just random. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna tell Ellie tomorrow, just because even though we only found out 2 days ago, like Ellie is someone that I tell everything to, and Ellie is somebody that I would want to talk to, you know, all throughout the pregnancy anyway, and just have her support. And I know that, you know, whatever was to happen, she would be there for me. So I think I'm gonna tell her tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna film her reaction. I don't think we're gonna film our family reactions, just because I'd rather, I don't know, I think I want to keep that private. It'd be quite nice to have it for our memories, but also I feel like it adds an extra layer of pressure trying to like set up the camera to record. I mean, as you saw with me telling James, like he literally saw me setting up the camera, and then I couldn't do like a surprise even because he walked in as I was setting the camera up and then just looked at it like, huh? And I'm planning on, I think she's gonna get in the car when I pick her up, and I imagine she's gonna be like, how are you? How's your week? And I'll be like, yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week actually. And then if she's like, why? I'm just gonna be like, I'm pregnant, which is still crazy and I can't believe it. But anyway, yesterday evening, I could not concentrate on anything yesterday. Like I was gonna film this nail job yesterday, I was gonna film a YouTube video yesterday, I just could not concentrate on anything. So I just like took the day to research everything about pregnancy. I did end up taking the other clear blue test, which again came back as pregnant. And then today I've taken another 2, which I'm pretty certain I'm pregnant, but you know, I just want to make sure that the line continues to get darker and stuff. So these are the 2 that I took today, which there's definitely a line on there and it's definitely darker than yesterday. And I actually still can't believe it. Like we're still processing it. James called me on his way to Manchester and we were just chatting about like everything about it, and I still can't believe it. I can't believe it. It feels like some weird dream. Yeah, I just wanted to give an update. I mean, we're absolutely over the moon. I don't know. We were planning to go to Australia in like January, February. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that anymore. Obviously I'll have to speak to the doctors and midwives and stuff and just see how I am. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, today I phoned the GP and I said, how do I book a midwife appointment? And she directed me to booking an appointment. So I filled out that form and I'm just waiting to hear back about an appointment with a midwife. I'm gonna go to bed now. I just wanted to give you an update the day after finding out. Like we're both so happy. I'm very nervous, but like I'm over the moon. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and I'll see you guys, don't know when, at some point. So I've just been to a Boots event. I told Ellie yesterday. She was shocked. I didn't record her reaction just because I didn't want like the pressure, and I didn't want like I don't know, I just felt like she would think it was weird how I was recording as soon as she got in the car, and I don't know if she would want her reaction on camera. Like I don't know, I just thought it would be less stressful to not record it. But she was shocked. She got in the car and she was like, oh, how are you? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I've had a bit of a crazy week. And then she just went silent. And she said to me afterwards that she was just thinking like, bit of a crazy week. Like, what has Soph been up to? She was like, am I a bad friend? Like, what? She was trying to think of what I told her that I've been up to this week. She was thinking, like, crazy week, what is she on about? And then, because she didn't say anything, I was kind of waiting for her to be like, oh, why? And then I literally had the pregnancy test hidden underneath me that I then pulled out. I couldn't start driving. I was literally shaking. I felt so sick to tell her. And yeah, then I was like, yeah, we had some pretty crazy news this week. And she was like, what? And then I pulled out the pregnancy test and just handed it to her. And she was just like, and just didn't say anything for like 10 seconds. And then was like, oh my God, congrats. She started crying. And then I was like, I know, what the hell? And then yeah, we spoke about it and I told her everything, and it was just like basically the whole day yesterday, neither of us could just get on with the day. She was like, how are we supposed to just get on with the day after receiving that news? But yeah, I'm glad that I told her, because at lunch, one of the menu options was duck, and normally I love duck. I'm a red meat kind of girl, but I knew that the duck's usually served like pink in the middle, and I'm not really supposed to have any like pink meat or like medium rare or rare meat. And Ellie knows this, right? I would never order the fish. Like occasionally I cook salmon for myself at home, but I would never order fish in a restaurant, right? And so I ordered the fish because I was like, well, that's going to be a better option. And I know that you're only supposed to have 2 portions of oily fish a week. Oh my God, sorry, it was air freshener. So I ordered the fish for my starter. I wasn't even 100% sure if I was allowed to have squid, and one of the options was calamari. And then I realized afterwards that I googled it, because obviously like in the moment I hadn't googled previously whether calamari is okay. Then I'm sat at the table with a bunch of people and I was literally googling stuff under the table, like different things while pregnant, and I had the mocktail that they came around with. Yeah, I had the fish. I had to have bruschetta for starter. I don't even like tomatoes, but I didn't order the calamari because I thought I couldn't have it, and then I realized afterwards you can have it as long as it's like cooked well, so I'm sure it would have been fine, but I just wanted to be careful. And then I was googling under the table like sticky toffee pudding while pregnant. But yeah, I will say I've got home from the event today. I didn't sleep great last night. I feel very like gassy and bloated. Let me just put you here, you know. So I've just balanced you here. Like the lighting is probably not the best, but oh yeah, sorry, that's my filming light, because I was filming my nail video there yesterday. But yeah, I feel very gassy, very bloated. I keep waking up. When I say keep, I've literally known for 3 days. I've been waking up definitely hungrier than normal, which I don't even think like the hunger is supposed to kick in until a little bit further along. I had my appointment through for our first midwife appointment. Like the NHS just seemed to give you an appointment, and I guess if you can't make it you have to give them a call. But yeah, we didn't get to pick our appointment. Our first appointment with the midwife is on the 4th of December, which is mine and James's 6-year being together anniversary. So yeah, that's a nice little thing. And I have just booked a 10-week scan, and I did just come home and take another test 3 days after finding out, and I mean, yep, definitely pregnant. Oh, I'm getting some gas pains. I know that your hormones kind of change. I was reading, like doing so much research, because I don't really know that much about pregnancy, to be honest. The change in your hormones slows down your digestive system. I've been feeling so bloated and having like, yeah, the only way I could describe it is like gas pains. And it like woke me up in the night. I was like, oh, like I don't feel too great. And then this morning I do feel a little bit sick and I feel really hungry. I did have some pancakes for breakfast, but I feel really hungry, but also I don't really want to eat anything. Like I don't really fancy eating anything right now. Like my stomach just feels a bit like bleh. So yeah, that's update on the 3rd day after finding out. See you in a bit. Ugh. This is also how I feel on the inside. Okay, hello. Jumping forward a while. Made it through my brother's wedding. Fine. I think my dad might have been getting a bit suspicious, because during the toasts, I was like, yay! You know, like during the speeches and stuff, I would pretend to take a sip and then put my champagne back down. And then like throughout the meal, my dad was like, are you saving your fizz, Soph, for dessert? And like, he wasn't asking it in a way to like pry. He was just genuinely saying like, oh, are you saving it for dessert? And then later on, he noticed I hadn't drunk it again. I was like, are you gonna drink your bubbles? And I was like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it. I had a dodgy stomach yesterday, which was actually true. Oh my God. I had a Wendy's burger the day before my brother's wedding. And then I had the most crazy stomach issues that evening, the night before the wedding. So it technically was true that I had stomach issues the day before, but I ended up giving my champagne to my dad. And then at one point he was like, oh, what are you drinking here? Is it white wine? And I'd put appetizer in my white wine glass, but I was just like, oh no, it's apple appetizer. I should have said, no, it's white wine. So he thought I was drinking white wine, but then I thought he might have tried to top up my drink. Then my family, like my cousins and my aunt and uncle and stuff, were all doing rounds of baby Guinness, which is my favourite thing in the world. So I went over to try and speak to my family, and then as soon as I heard the words baby Guinness, I was like, I'm gonna go dance, because I did not want to have to turn down a baby Guinness, because then I knew that people would be ultra suspicious, because baby Guinness is like my favourite shot ever. And I never have turned down a baby Guinness in my life. So I spent most of my brother's wedding with my mum, who doesn't actually drink, and like avoiding my family because they were all drinking loads and they all got smashed and I was not able to join them, and I spent a lot of it on the dance floor. But I felt like I was being really rude and really boring, but I was avoiding them because they were all stood by the bar for like most of the night and they just kept offering me drinks, and I was like, how do I get out of this? But anyway, made it through the wedding, fine. I did not have any symptoms other than, like, between finding out and now. So today, hello, I am 7 weeks, 2 days pregnant according to my app, but I think I could potentially be slightly behind that just due to my cycle, because they go off a 28-day cycle. Most of my cycles are usually like 31, 32 days. The only symptoms I had up until 7 weeks were sore boobs, my god, and then just like severe bloating, gassiness, TMI, but just like varying levels of digestive issues, and then just like being a bit more tired than normal. Oh, and being hungry, like I was so much more hungry, right? And during the first couple of weeks that I found out, oh my god, even speaking about it makes me feel like I want to be sick. I suddenly decided that I fancied avocado, which I'd never had in my life. Like, I've never liked avocado, and I was buying like guacamole and having it on a piece of bread every single day for like 2-3 weeks straight, and then suddenly I woke up, I kid you not, on the day that it was 7 weeks, that I was 7 weeks, I woke up feeling so sick, and then throughout the day and like since then, I've just been feeling sick all day, and the thought of avocado, I still have an avocado in the kitchen, and looking at it, like, the reason I knew that something had changed is because I woke up that morning and I was scrolling through my YouTube and a recipe came up of some guacamole, and I was like, no, I can't do it. And now just the thought of avocado makes me want to vomit, and oh my god, the past few days have not been very fun. I have basically been feeling sick from the second I wake up until I go to bed, on and off. I would say every like hour or 2 hours maximum I will go without feeling sick. It's basically, I've seen so many people say this, but I'm having the same thing. If my stomach is empty, I feel sick. So I have been eating literally yesterday I had about 6 meals. I had cereal in the morning, then about an hour later I had like a Baby Bell and an apple, then I had a Rivita with some red pepper hummus, then I made myself a ham sandwich, then I had a bag of Pombes, then before my dinner, oh, I had half a ball of mozzarella cheese, some more fruit, then I cooked myself dinner. I had salmon, which I really actually struggled with because I was fine eating it, but the smell of it cooking was really putting me off. And actually, yeah, I'm finding like the smell of the air fryer is setting me off. Oh, the heating's just come on. Yesterday I came down for breakfast, walked into the kitchen, the smell of the kitchen made me run to the toilet with my head over the toilet bowl because I thought I was gonna vom. It's just not been great, and I've tried to get a GP appointment. Yesterday there were no GP appointments left because I have to do it via this online form, and then it just says, sorry, we're full for the day. And then today I ended up sleeping for like 10 hours and then missed, like, for my GP you have to log in at 7 AM. This morning I ended up sleeping until 10:30. I had the longest night's sleep of my life. Obviously missed the GP appointment again, but then I've been feeling so sick today and I've got deadlines. And so I have told Sasha, my manager, at this point, just because I can't not tell her, like, I'm not able to function as normal. So I had to tell her, and which she's been very lovely about and said, like, I can push back deadlines if needed, but I don't want to push stuff back. Like, I need to get stuff done. And so I've been in bed for pretty much most of this morning just feeling sick, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna drag myself out of bed and drive to the pharmacy. James actually took me to the pharmacy, and also to go get some snacks, because I'd read online that you can get, I can't remember what it's called, like cyclazine or something, an anti-sickness medication. It said on the NHS website you can buy it over the counter. You can just buy it from the pharmacy and it's safe to use during pregnancy. So I was like, okay, I went in there and I said, can I buy some anti-nausea medication over the counter? I'm 7 weeks pregnant and I've not been able to get a GP appointment. And she came back and she was like, sorry, we can't sell you anything. You need to see your GP. And I was like, why did it say on the NHS website you can buy it over the counter? Like, that's literally what it says. I've seen people on Reddit saying that they just went into a pharmacy and bought anti-sickness medication. So we try again tomorrow. But I'm really nervous because this weekend, me and James are going round to my parents' house, and James's parents are also coming. And this sounds so bad, but I've been trying to avoid both of our parents because I just don't want them to suspect before, you know, like we've had a scan. Basically, we don't want to tell them before we've had a scan, and we don't have a scan until 10 weeks. And ideally, I'd like to wait until 12 weeks. But I'm gonna have to tell them, I've said this already I think in the previous thing, like we're gonna have to tell them before Christmas, like especially because we're having Christmas dinner at my parents' house. And just generally, like if I'm feeling ill on Christmas Day, we're there all day. They're gonna know about it. And so we're planning to tell them after we've had our 10-week scan, which is for like not for like another 3 weeks. But this weekend we're going out for dinner, and I'm so nervous because my dad said he was cooking like a buffet, and he was like, oh, I'll do some chicken, but I'll do some beef strips as well, because he knows that me and James love beef. But he's gonna do them, I know he's gonna do them medium rare, and I'm not gonna be able to eat any, and then he's gonna be like, why aren't you eating the beef? I'm like, what excuse do I even give? Also, I'm like, if I feel the way that I felt today, it's gonna be awful. Like, I need some anti-sickness medication before the weekend. So yeah, I'm a bit stressed about that. But the only reason why I'm now stood here in my filming room, I have, honestly, the energy that it took me to just scrape up my hair today. Like, my hair's been greasy and down, and I've just brushed it and that was all. But I've got an ad to film right now. Luckily, it's a TikTok ad and it's not gonna take me long to film, but I need to get some work done. And so I've just scraped up my hair, I've washed my face. I'm gonna put a bit of makeup on and hope it makes me feel a bit better, but the only reason why I'm up right now is because I've just gone and had another snack. Had a bag of Skips, and I've had some breadsticks with cream cheese, and I know that those are not healthy snacks, but that is all I can manage right now. I do not want to eat anything healthy right now. Like, I'm trying to eat healthy, and obviously, like, I'm taking my vitamins, and I've been trying to get my greens in every day. Like yesterday I had spinach with my dinner. But when it comes to snacks, I guess some of my snacks have been fruit, which is good, but the main things that I'm fancying is just like dry, salty foods. There we go. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. 7 weeks, 2 days, and I feel like shit. Even drinking water is making me feel ill. I know I need to drink water. Like, I've been trying to drink water in the evenings when I'm feeling less sick, but I got myself this today as a little treat. The Rubicon orange and mango is one of my favourite things ever, and I'm like, you know what, if I'm feeling like eating or drinking anything, I'm just gonna allow myself to have it, because it's better than having nothing at all, you know, and at least it's some hydration. So yeah, I guess I'll update you at some point. I don't know when I'll update you, but yeah, just an update. I thought I'd avoided every symptom, and I was kind of smug about it. I was saying to Ellie like, oh yeah, I've not really had many symptoms yet other than sore boobs and being tired and hungry, and then it hit me. But it will all be worth it. And you know what, wait, let me just show you. Let me show you my bump. Well, I don't really have a bump. It's obviously like a bloat bump at the moment. Let me just go back here, sorry. Let me try and close my drawer now. I have a feeling I'm gonna be living in this Goose and Gander tracksuit for literally my whole pregnancy apart from the summer, because it's big. Like, it stretches a lot. The bottoms are elasticated and they're too big for me currently. But currently, sorry, the lighting is horrendous. Currently, when I kind of like relax, this is the situation. Like, I've got the smallest little like bloat. Like, it's not a bump at this point. I know that it's not the baby at this point. It's just like excess fluids, bloating. Apparently your uterus is now the size of an orange, so even just like your growing uterus can make your belly stick out a bit more. But yeah, sometimes when I'm really bloated in the evenings, it does look more pregnant, but it's just like the tiniest little bump. And then if I suck it in, there's just like this tiny little here, which I didn't have before. But yeah, it's literally like nothing at the moment. And then, whew, if I actually just breathe and like relax. This is my tummy. Like, yeah, don't know. I know that that's really like nothing much at all, but there you go. I'm gonna go and try and get on with some work while I'm feeling semi-human. Goodbye. I don't actually think I've ever looked this bad on camera and in life. I don't even know what my last update was. To be honest, I can't actually remember. Let me just check my app to see how far along I am today. My app is currently telling me 8 weeks and 4 days. And since I filmed my last update, if I'm being completely honest, it's been very tough and I've had an awful time. Oh, Pinky's heard me talking to myself and has come down to keep me company. Sorry if you can see this mountain of boxes just stacked up there. I feel bad because obviously I'm super grateful to be pregnant, and I said this to Ellie yesterday, like I feel like a bit of a broken record the past few days because everyone's asking me like, oh, how are you today? Hope you're feeling a bit better. And I'm like, oh, I'm still feeling like shit. Or just being like, hey, how are you? I'm like, yeah, still not good. How are you? And I just feel bad, like, complaining all the time, but that is my reality at the moment. So on Monday, I don't know what the hell happened on Monday. Like, I think I was all right on Sunday, and then Monday I woke up and the whole day, by the way, trigger warning, I'm gonna talk about everything here. So if you don't want to hear anything gory, any gory details about sick, needles, blood, hospitals, any of the above, this is not the video for you probably. I just could not stop being sick, and I could not keep anything down, to the point where like I couldn't even keep water down. And James was saying like, Soph, you need to drink something, you need to drink. And even just taking a few sips of water, I would have a few sips of water and then about half an hour later I'd throw it back up again. And it got to the point where, what did we even do on that day? I tried eating breakfast, threw it up. Tried having a little snack later in the day, threw it back up again. Every single thing that I ate or drank came back up, and then some. And like, to the point where I couldn't even try and eat because I was so weak and feeling so sick and so nauseous that I couldn't even take a bite of anything. So I wasn't eating anything, but was still just repeatedly being sick. Oh, and I was still taking my anti-sickness medication. I don't even know if I mentioned that. Like, Friday last week, I'd been to the GP and they'd given me some cyclizine. It's just not been working. Like, some days I felt semi-fine and the nausea's kind of come and gone, and I've had a couple hours in between where I'm kind of all right. But then, yeah, like Monday just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I don't even know what time it got to. It got to a certain point in the day where I was like, okay, I need some help because I can't keep anything down. And obviously it says online, like, if you can't even keep down water, you need like an IV or something, like you need some treatment. And obviously, like, I was really worried about my own health and obviously like the baby's health, and I just felt like, I don't think I've ever felt that ill in my life. The only other time I have felt that ill was when I had a severe infection a few years ago, where I ended up in hospital. And I was saying to James, like, I'm having the same feelings where, like, I was just so scared. Shut up. I just felt like so ill. I was like, James, we need some help. And so he called 111 and spoke to them on the phone for me. They said, okay, we're gonna send an ambulance. And then we were like, oh no, like, don't do that, because I didn't feel like I needed an ambulance because James is able to drive me to A&E. But they said, okay, we will say that you've refused an ambulance, but we'll get a consultant to call you within the hour. So then the consultant called us and we explained everything to them. And then they said, okay, we'll book you an out of hours GP telephone appointment within the hour. And everything was like, within the hour. And I think we first phoned 111 at maybe like 9:30. And then when we got to the point where they said a GP will call you within an hour, it was like 11:30 at night. I was just so tired. Like, I've been going to bed so early anyway, and obviously like so weak, so tired, but was still throwing up at this point. And so like, even just trying to go to sleep, like I couldn't even sleep because I felt so sick, and then I was still getting up to be sick, and it just didn't stop. I think it got to about midnight where I was trying to sleep upstairs in bed, and then I was sick again, and I was like, nothing in my stomach, no fluids, no water, no food. I was literally to the point where my body was like shaking like this. I don't know whether it was like adrenaline. I don't know why it would be adrenaline. I don't know if that was like me being just scared and like weak, and I don't know, something was going on with my body. I was just like violently shaking and still being sick. And I was like, James, I think you need to call someone. He came in and I was just on the bed, literally like, I can't do this. I was saying to him like, I can't do this, I can't do this. Because I just felt so unbelievably ill, and I was like, I can't stop. Like, it was just awful. James was like, right, I'm calling 999, because at this point we'd not had a phone call from the GP yet, and we were just waiting around. So he called 999 and they were like, okay, we're gonna send an ambulance from the symptoms that you've described. But they said, just to let you know, it can take up to 7 hours, 20 minutes. So we were like, okay, now what do we do? And so I got up, put some clothes on, came downstairs and slept on the sofa, and we were basically waiting for that ambulance to arrive. And then at 2:30 in the morning, James's phone started ringing, and it was the out of hours GP, and they were like, hi, sorry, we've been really busy, like we've only just got back to you, which obviously like completely understand. Like, I know that the NHS is at like full capacity. Out of hours GP was basically like, if you can, just drive her to A&E. And so that's what we did, and we cancelled the ambulance. And then I think it was about, yeah, like 2:30, he drove me along to A&E. And amazingly, the out of hours GP said on the phone, she was like, I've sent them like a referral or something, somebody will see you within the hour. But amazingly, we got there. I feel so sorry for the people that were in that waiting room because I was just round the corner being sick into a bowl. But we did then get seen pretty much straight away after that, and they took me into like a, it wasn't like a regular ward. It was like they had a chair and like curtains and stuff, but it wasn't like the beds. They did urine test. I think they did a blood, yeah, they did a blood test. They hooked me up. I've literally still got the tape. This bit is not coming off. How am I supposed to get this off? I've literally tried scrubbing it and it's not coming off. But the more I scrub it, it's just irritating my eczema. So I'm like, I'm just gonna leave that. But they shoved the tube in this arm and they gave me, it was 2 bags of fluids and then 3 lots at different times throughout the night of 3 different types of anti-sickness. The first lot they gave me, which was the cyclazine via IV. I then was sick again, so that obviously didn't work. Then they gave me 2 other different types of anti-sickness. I think my fluids were finished by like 5:30 a.m. and then they said, okay, we just need you to speak to the doctor before we can discharge you. And then I think we had to wait until 9:30 to speak to the doctor, and by that point they'd swapped. I mean, obviously this is not the fault of them at all, like they were so busy, but by that point they'd swapped the night shift with the day shift, and so there was then a new doctor that came in, and so then I had to re-explain everything to this new doctor. And I'm not gonna lie, the doctor that saw me in the morning was a little bit patronising. All the staff there were so lovely and so helpful, and they took such great care of me. And I was saying to the I don't know if she was a nurse or if she was a doctor, I don't know what her role was, but the person that was like doing my IV bags, and she kept coming to check on me, I just said to her, I was like, thank you for taking such good care of me, you're so patient. Because there was a bunch of people giving her grief, being like, when am I gonna get seen? And she was like, I don't run the system, I just work here, I'm here to take care of people, I'm really sorry there's long wait times, there's nothing we can do. And people, like multiple people coming and giving her abuse, and it's like, it's literally not her fault. Like, it's not her fault that they're so busy and understaffed, you know, she's just there to do her job. And so she was really lovely. Then the doctor in the morning, I felt a little bit like patronised by, she was saying to me like, oh, when was your LMP? And I was like, what's LMP? And she was like, your last menstrual period. And I was like, oh, sorry. And she kind of like laughed a little bit, and she was like, this is your first pregnancy? And I was like, yeah, it's my first pregnancy. And then she basically came back and was like, so we're gonna give you some cyclazine. And I was like, that's what I've been taking for the past week and it's not been working, and that's why I've ended up in hospital. And I said, I was taking that like back to back the past few days and I've just been throwing it up and it's not doing the job. Could I possibly try a different anti-sickness medication? She was like, I don't like to prescribe anything else because it's not suggested for pregnancy. And I was kind of like, okay, like I'm sure I've read online that there's other types of anti-sickness that you can try. But she basically said no, and she said, here's another box of cyclazine. And I was thinking, I've got a box of 100 of those at home, they're not doing the job. But I took them anyway, and she basically said, oh, you'll be fine if you just eat every couple hours. I was like, that's what I have been doing. And she was like, just try and avoid the foods that make you feel sick. I was like, I have been doing that. Like, if those things worked, I would not have ended up in this situation, you know? Like, I've been doing everything in the guidelines to try and self-help myself, and they've not been working. And then they said, okay, like, you need to eat some food and drink some stuff before we can let you go, because apparently my urine, there was still like high ketones in my urine, which meant I was still dehydrated. They saw me eat some stuff, they did another blood test, and then we were discharged at 9:30. Turn away if you're squeamish with eyes and blood. I burst a blood vessel in my eye. Can you see that? I'm so glad it wasn't on the front of it and it's just like underneath here. And also I've got like a few little red dots, like there's one under here, there's some on my eyelids, which apparently is from me exerting so much pressure when I was being sick. In terms of sickness, I was fine until about 48 hours later maybe. And then today I woke up and I was sick again. And it's just been, yesterday I was nauseous all day. If I'm able to eat something, the nausea will stop for like maybe like a maximum of 2 hours, but then I will go right back to feeling sick again. I've had so many instances where I felt so sick, and I hate being sick, but it gets to the point where like I just want to be sick to give me like a temporary relief. That feeling of like, oh my god, I feel so sick, I feel so sick, I can't eat, I can't drink, that just really has been taken out of me. I just cannot do anything. Like I'm just spending all day on the sofa, like not even really watching the TV, because for some reason some of the things on the TV make me feel more sick. I've just been on the sofa retching into a bowl and not actually getting anything done. I just can't, like I physically cannot. And so I've had to cancel all my like jobs ads between now and Christmas because I'm like, I just can't do it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do in terms of my content, because every day I think like, oh, hopefully today I'll be feeling well enough to actually film something, and then I just don't, and then I'm just on the sofa all day. Anyway, this morning missed the window to book a GP appointment because I was being sick. Phoned the GP anyway, and I was like, help, is there any appointments left, like emergency appointments? She was like, I'm really sorry, I've not got anything, but you can call this helpline. She gave me a helpline to call, and I called the helpline and they were like, sorry, we can only help you if you're over 16 weeks pregnant. And then I called my maternity department to try and get an afternoon appointment. They didn't get back to me until about 4:30 this afternoon. By that point, like, I was just feeling so rough, and I'd already been sick a couple times, and again, like, just this awful nausea. I was like, I need to try some new medication. And I've been in touch with the charity, I think it was like the early pregnancy support. There was some kind of charity that I was put in touch with. They were really good. I ended up booking a private GP appointment through the Livy app, and so I had a video call with a GP. Spoke to this very nice lady. She prescribed me with a new medication called Exomvia or something. Exomvia. They've put on my notes that I have hyperemesis, what is it called? Hyperemesis gravidarum, which is the medical term for a severe form of nausea and vomiting during pregnancy. It's more extreme and persistent than morning sickness and can lead to dehydration, weight loss, and electrolyte imbalances. It usually starts in early pregnancy and can make it difficult to eat or drink enough. The symptoms can last for a few weeks or the entire pregnancy. So I'm hoping this new medication is gonna help. My mum came round to drive me to the pharmacy to collect my medication. First pharmacy, they were like, sorry, we don't know how to do this e-prescription. So then tried phoning a different pharmacy and they said, sorry, we've not got that medication in stock. Went to a third pharmacy and they were like, we also don't have the medication in stock, but we can order it in for you. And I was like, oh yes, please, that'll be amazing. And she said, we don't have it in now, but we can hopefully get it in tomorrow. So tomorrow's Saturday and I'm just keeping everything crossed that they get the medication delivered, because she was like, there's no guarantee that we'll get it in tomorrow, but she said, try calling us tomorrow. And so that's where I'm currently at. I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough and it's been very isolating. I've been struggling with it, I think, because I'm so relieved now that we've told my parents. Oh yeah, sorry, missed out that part. We ended up telling our parents. I was like, I need to tell my mum and dad because I just need their support. Like, we were planning to tell them at Christmas, we were planning to tell them after we'd had a scan. I ordered these cute cards to give them and it was gonna be like a big surprise, but I just needed their help, really. I had to tell them, and they're obviously really excited, but I think also quite worried because I'm not feeling great. And then James told his parents as well and they're really excited. I just feel really guilty because I have been so not fun to live with. Like, James has been a saint. He's been helping with everything, making me food and stuff. Not that I've really been wanting to eat anything, but I do feel for him as well because he's not told any of his mates, so he's not really got anybody to like talk it through with, and like, it must be hard for him as well, having me just not being able to do anything, pretty much having to run the house while he's also got work and look after me and feel like he's supporting me and stuff. But I've just been so like down that whenever he comes and sees me, he's like, hey, how are you feeling? I'm like, I still feel like shit. And it just like goes round in circles of me just complaining that I'm not feeling well and him like not really being able to do much to help. I can't be helped at the moment. Like, there's nothing that anyone can do other than just sit and listen, I guess. And so I'm just really, 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 really hoping that this new medication is gonna help and it's gonna make me feel a whole lot better, and I'll be able to get back to doing some work and I'll be able to get back to feeling like myself again, because at the moment I just don't feel like myself. I'm probably gonna go now because I don't just want to sit here and complain at you because no one wants to listen to that, but I'm just trying to share my honest story. And if anybody wondered why I've kind of disappeared off the internet during December and November, this is why. And if anyone else is going through the same thing, I'm sending you a lot of love because I know it is rough. I follow Em Clarkson and I've seen that she's had really bad HG for both her pregnancies, but particularly her second pregnancy. She just seems like she's been through hell. Seeing her talk about it was one of the first things that I kind of had ever even heard of it, to be honest. Like, I'd never really heard of it before that. So yeah, even if this just brings some awareness. Alright guys, I'm gonna go. I think James will be home soon. He's out in London with his mates for a Christmas thingy. Thanks for listening. Hopefully in the next update I'll be feeling better. Bye-bye. Hi, I look really different from the last time you saw me. One, I just had a little look on my camera. I was looking rough. Like, I was about to come on here and say, I'm so sorry I look so rough today, but it's got nothing on that previous clip that you saw. I did want to come on here when I was first showing my brown hair with makeup on, but most days I have not been wearing makeup. Most days I've not even been wearing my contact lenses. You know what, I've just realised I probably should have actually watched what I said in the previous clip, because I filmed it, I don't even know when I filmed it, like a couple of weeks ago maybe, or a week ago. I can't even remember, and I don't know what I said in it, and I don't know if I got my new medication then or not. Basically, if I'm looking a lot more alive today, it's because I am feeling a lot more alive today. We're still taking the cyclizine that they'd given me. It was literally doing nothing, I think, other than making me super drowsy and super tired, because honestly, since I've stopped taking that, I've still been really tired, don't get me wrong, but I've not been napping as much during the day, and I've not been as like drowsy and like zombie-like. I feel like when I was taking the cyclizine, I was wiped out just like all day, and I mean that was partly due to the sickness as well, but basically I was still feeling so rough, and I was like, I can't do this, like I can't continue this cycle. It was just gonna end up to the point where I ended up back in hospital. I spoke to the loveliest doctor, thank God, who seemed to know a lot about pregnancy sickness, and she was really understanding, whereas I feel like some doctors that I've spoken to have been a little bit more patronizing and have just been like, oh, have a ginger biscuit, you'll be fine. And it's like, that doesn't work for everyone. She prescribed me a new medication. It's called Zonvia. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I don't want to like advise that anybody takes anything. Everyone is completely different in terms of their experience. But for me, it has honestly changed my life. Like, I know that that sounds really dramatic, and a lot of this video is gonna sound really dramatic, but this is just my experience as I've had it and in my own words. I've gone from waking up feeling sick all throughout the day, like not eating properly, not drinking enough fluids, napping throughout the day, having to get James to do everything for me, not being able to do any work, or like retching into a bowl, or being sick. So I've gone from that to genuinely overnight, since I started taking the medication, because I take it in the evenings and then it's supposed to sort of like kick in then throughout the day. Now being able to leave the house, drive myself places, cook food again, which is a huge one. Don't get me wrong, there have been a couple of days still where I have started to feel nauseous towards the evening, I guess like as the medication is wearing off, and I've had to get James to cook my dinner most of the time. I mean, like this evening. Okay, I didn't finish my food because I cooked myself too big of a portion, but I had spaghetti bolognese. But yeah, I'm able to go into the kitchen without gagging now. I'm able to open the fridge without gagging now. I will have a burst of energy for like an hour and then I'll crash and I just need to go and sit down. Like my mum came round today to help me do a little bit of like sorting out and tidying of the house, because I'm hosting my friends, my school friends, who don't know yet other than Ellie, on the weekend for like a Christmas dinner, and I've not seen them in ages. But my mum was like, Soph, would you like me to help you come and tidy? I was like, yes please, that would be an absolute dream. So she came today and helped me tidy. I don't know, I'd do like half an hour, then I need to like sit down, have a little break. For some reason my back is killing me, and I'm like, how is my lower back hurting already when I'm not even past the first trimester? Like, why is that a thing? I don't know if it's because everything's like growing and expanding in there, but I have been so uncomfortable. I just cannot get comfy. Like I said, I'm not even past the first trimester. But I got myself a pregnancy pillow. This is the Mum Cozy one that I kept getting ads for on TikTok Shop, and it arrived really quickly. It arrived vacuum packed in this box that was like this big, and then I opened it all up and it's the biggest thing ever, but this feels so comfy. So I'm gonna try and sleep with this tonight, if James doesn't try and steal it off me. The main reason I wanted to come on here and talk to you all is because we had a scan. So we booked an early scan because one, like I just wanted the reassurance to like check that, you know, stuff is going as it should, and especially like because I've not been feeling so good, like it's just nice to have like the reassurance, you know. There's our little baby. So there is our first scan. We did also get like a couple other pictures. We ended up getting 6 printouts, but we've given the rest of them to our family. So there's another little scan. That one's kind of creepy. Like, look at the umbilical cord in that one. But then in this one, you can see like the little legs, which was so cute. I wasn't sure, like, look at the 2 little legs. So sweet. So that was such a relief to have a scan and like see the heartbeat. We got a little video of it as well. You could pay like a tenner to upgrade to get all of the scan pictures in a video. So we were like, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we got to see the little arms, the little legs, the little, oh, there was one picture which I wish we'd got printed where you can see like the nose. It was just such a sense of relief to like see baby and see a little heartbeat like beating away, and they said like everything's growing as normal, everything looks good. Since then we have told a few people, and then this weekend we told my brother and his new wife, and they were so excited. Like, they're so excited to be aunt and uncle. We haven't told James's sister yet because she's currently traveling and she gets back in 2 days. So I think we're gonna tell her when she gets back, and I just know that she's gonna bawl her eyes out. Like, at our wedding, she was crying pretty much all day. We told a few more friends as well, just because we're seeing a group of our friends on Friday for a Christmas dinner, and we're doing karaoke afterwards. And the Christmas dinner that we've booked, they have like a minimum food spend and a minimum drink spend. But I'm not gonna be drinking, and I think it's gonna be, I don't know if it's actually gonna be like a pretty drink heavy thing. But anyway, we just thought we would tell them before so that we then didn't make like the Christmas dinner all about us kind of thing. And so we sent a message in our group chat, and obviously I will only be posting this if this has since been announced, but we sent the message and then a few of our friends started replying, and then immediately I got a call from Talia, which was a video call, and I thought it was gonna be her just like crying. I pick up the phone and me and James are here, and she was just like, I'm pregnant too. And we were like, what? Talia is also pregnant at the same time. And so then we were just comparing notes all of yesterday, and I was like, it is so nice to actually have somebody who has experienced like very similar kind of symptoms and stuff, and to like just have somebody to sympathize with, I guess. I told Jazz as well. I can't remember if I mentioned before, because I think I told Jazz before I filmed the last clip maybe. Basically, I didn't end up going to my management's Christmas dinner. I'd posted on my stories that I haven't posted in a while because I've been ill. I didn't like elaborate further, obviously. And then Jazz messaged me like, hey Soph, can I just check? Like, obviously I'm seeing you tomorrow at the Christmas dinner. Can I just check what you were ill with? Because obviously like she doesn't want to catch anything. Like, she wanted to check if it was like COVID or anything. And so I immediately messaged her and told her, and then we had a FaceTime for like an hour. And yeah, I think she was quite surprised and really excited, and that was really lovely. Sorry, Pinky's just come downstairs. Pink, do you want to come up for a cuddle? Oh, and the way that we announced to my brother and his wife is we got these little cards off of Etsy, which I can't remember if I've showed already. These were what we were gonna announce to our parents with, but it didn't end up being that way because we didn't even have a scan before we told them. But it just says, the best presents are not always under the Christmas tree. And then you open it up, and then we'd put in one of the scans. And yeah, I think that's about all that I had to update you on. I probably won't do an update for a while unless anything changes. Maybe see you at our NHS scan, I don't know. We'll see. Hello! Whew. Oh wait, I need to move these down. I don't think this is the best lighting. I know for a fact it's not the best lighting because I'm literally under a spotlight, like look. But hello, I've just filmed a video. I don't even know what the last clip of this vlog was, but I just wanted to kind of sum up a few things, let you know what's been going on. I've not filmed in like a few weeks for this vlog. I'm not gonna dwell on it too much, but it happened again where I think it was around like 13.5 weeks. I ended up back in the hospital. The exact same thing that happened last time happened again. I basically woke up one morning, I think it was about like 6 AM, and then I continued to be sick every hour pretty much, and then it got to the point where it was like every half an hour, and I still like yet again was not able to keep down any food, fluids. I thought it was just going to be another day where I was like sick a couple of times and then I would move on, because like that has also happened where I've just been sick a couple of times and then I've been okay. Generally if that's happened in the evening. However, this time it was in the morning and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna see if it gets better. It's so annoying because there's like a HG phone line that I was given, but you can only phone between, I think it's like 8 AM and 10 AM. And at that point, I'd only been sick twice, so I was like, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm not gonna call them, I'm not gonna book an appointment to get like fluids for that afternoon. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. And then later on, I tried to call and they were basically like, sorry, we can't help you. We've got no appointments. You can only call to get an appointment between the specific times in the morning. That doesn't help if you're then being sick in the afternoon or evening. But anyway, I called my maternity department because I was like, I cannot face going back to hospital, even though there was nothing that I could have done to prevent this. Well, the midwife said on the phone it was just like a hormone surge in your body. Sometimes HG can progress and get worse throughout the pregnancy, and there's certain times where it's worse than others and blah blah blah. She was like, well, put it this way, do you think that you can be okay and keep fluids down basically until tomorrow morning? At this point it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, I think, and she said, can you wait until tomorrow to try and book an appointment with the HG department to get fluids? And I was like, well, I'm currently being sick every half an hour. I've not been able to keep anything down. And she was like, that doesn't sound good to me. That's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to be good for the baby. I think you need to go to A&E. And I was like, okay. And so we did, and we did it again. I had the fluids, I had the anti-sickness. It was not a very pleasant experience, but we did it. We're home. I still felt nauseous to the point where I couldn't move off the sofa. And they basically then told me from that point, the doctor that discharged me this time was a lot nicer and a lot more understanding than the first time I went. And he said, like, what are you taking at the moment? He phoned the gynecology department for me. Whereas last time, you know, they didn't even try and get me any other options than cyclizine. But he said with Zomvia that I was taking, even though on my medication, the doctor originally told me you can take it up to 3 times a day. He phoned the gynecology department and they said to him, you can take it a maximum of 4 times a day. So he said to me, have 2 in the evening before you go to bed, 1 first thing when you wake up, and then 1 at lunchtime. Don't follow this without consulting your doctor if you're going through a similar thing. And touch wood, that has controlled it since I have now not actually been sick in almost 2 weeks, which is the longest that I have not been sick throughout this whole pregnancy. Again, touch wood. Please say that's gonna be it now, like keeping everything crossed. And then I still had like a rough week after that, but now something has changed in like the past week, and I know that something has changed because 1, I have more energy, I have more appetite, I'm feeling a bit more normal, I haven't been sick, and my skin is freaking out. As you can probably see, like when I'm under this light, can you see on my forehead, I have got quite a lot of small spots on my forehead. And then down here, like on my chin and on my jaw, mostly on this side, I've got so many like hormonal spots. Something's going on in my body, but I'm so grateful for that. Another update, we had our 12-week scan, so here is our little baby. I'm very curious what people think from the scan. I'd seen a bunch of stuff about the nub theory. You cannot see a nub on this scan. There's also stuff about like the skull theory that I'd been googling, and I don't know how accurate they are, but I'd be very curious to see whether from that scan if anybody thinks if it's a boy or if it's a girl. But we did find out the gender. I can't remember if I said that. I went for a gender blood test. That was a nightmare. It was the same place that we'd been booking like the private scans. I think I was just like really dehydrated that day. She literally stabbed me like 4 times in this arm, couldn't get enough blood to come out, and the needle was in my arm for so long, and she was like, it's not working. And it was actually painful. Like blood tests have never been painful for me before. It's just been like a slight pinch. And then I was like, normally I'm fine with blood tests. It's injections that makes me like feel like I'm gonna faint. I guess because that's like stuff going into me. But blood tests now I'm so fine. But for some reason, like she tried 4 separate times in this arm, and then I started feeling really faint, and I was like, I feel like I might pass out. She was like, okay, go away, come back, have a snack, have a drink, and I'll try and fit you in like 10-15 minutes. So then we came back, and then I think she had to stab me 2 times in this arm. I'd already had a blood test that morning at the hospital in that arm. This wasn't the day after I was being sick, this was before then. But yeah, so I had like 4 holes in this arm, 3 holes in this arm, and the next day my arm, this arm was so bruised for like a week. So I don't know what went wrong there. We've got our gender result back, and so I will upload that as my next video, but that will be very soon, like within the next week of you watching this vlog probably. I just wanted to do a little roundup. I wrote a couple of notes, but as you can tell now, like I feel this is the best that I've felt throughout my whole pregnancy, other than like the first week I guess, but I feel the most normal now, which has been so nice. Me and James went out for a walk today, and I was like smiling at him as I was walking towards him. I was just walking around smiling, and I went to an event today, the first event that I've been to in I think over 3 months. But yeah, I went to a rare beauty event today, and it was really nice. I'm not feeling as tired as I was previously. However, I'm now getting nightmares every single night. Maybe that's a change in hormones, but for the past week, I've had a nightmare every single day without fail, which is horrible. Oh my god. I had a nightmare where I genuinely woke up sweating. I had a dream that I'd given birth to the baby. All our family were there, everyone was excited. And then, in my nightmare, the baby started shrinking. And every time I went to check on them, they were smaller. I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Why is the baby shrinking? And everyone was like, oh, they're fine. I was like, they're not fine, the baby's shrinking. The baby kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller until they were the size of an ant, like this tiny little bug, like this big. And then the baby like wriggled out of my hand. I dropped it on the floor. It got lost in the carpet. And then I was like, oh my god, I've lost my baby. I'm never gonna find it in this carpet. I'm gonna vacuum it up the hoover by accident. And this was a genuine stress in my dream. And then I googled baby shrinking dream just to see like if anybody else has had the same dream. And I kid you not, there is a forum, like a mum's net or something. There's some forum that I found where people have had the exact same dream. And then my other dreams are just like a lot worse. They're the type of dreams that I used to get when I was like peak anxiety. So I wrote notes week by week. So week 4 to 5, I wrote gassy cramps, mild period-like cramps, sorry the heating's just come on, constipation and diarrhea. Nice. Super bloated, acne on chin and cheeks, hungover belly feeling, question mark. Hungry but no food sounds appetizing. So that was how I would describe it for like a good few weeks. It's just I felt like I had a permanent hangover where you have that like sicky, unsettled stomach feeling. 5 weeks, diarrhea and cramping. 5 weeks, 2 days, stretching feeling in lower abdomen and really hungry, getting tired more quickly. Suddenly started liking avocado and eating guacamole every day, which was interesting. And I think I had guacamole every day for like a week or two. 6 weeks, in capital letters, sore boobs and nipples. Waking up ravenous, and if I eat lunch late, ravenous in capital letters. Still suddenly have digestive issues, stomach making weird noises, definitely more tired than normal and out of breath. Only at 6 weeks. No food aversions yet or smell sensitivities. I thought I was just sailing on through. 6 weeks, 4 days. The thought of avocado now makes me feel sick. Felt nauseous yesterday and struggled to eat my Cocoa Pops this morning, which for me is very bizarre because I have Cocoa Pops every day. 6 weeks, 6 days, nauseous. Went for a roast and didn't finish it, felt so sick in the evening, then suddenly had a craving for pancakes at 9 p.m. 7 weeks, I've just written in capital letters. How do women do this in the office? Feel sick all day unless I eat something. Nausea is intense. By the way, I've had messages from people since that have either been through bad morning sickness or nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, because it's not morning sickness, some people it's all day sickness. But for people that have had bad sickness, people messaged me on Instagram saying that they had to take months off of work because of their HG and their nausea and vomiting, which makes a lot of sense. And other people just struggled through it. Somebody messaged me and said that their boss wouldn't allow them to take time off because it was just morning sickness, and they went into work and were then just being sick at work. And then they said that after that their boss was like, oh okay, obviously like you can go home because you're being sick. It's just such an awful thing to go through. Also at 7 weeks, pharmacy refused me anti-sickness medication, feeling sick every 2 hours, can't move from the sofa, no energy. And then I've put snacks, breadsticks and cream cheese, pombes, apples. I went through a phase of having apples every day. I've not had one in a while. Baby Bell, chicken nuggets, sweet potato fries, sweet onion Rivita with red pepper hummus and a Baby Bell. That is still a top tier snack. I went off hummus for a good few weeks, but I'm eating it again now. 7 weeks, 3 days, got a GP appointment, started taking cyclazine. You know the whole rest of the story with that. Developed an aversion to the Wicked film. I think I spoke about that already. Haven't eaten Cocoa Pops in a week, which is probably the first time ever in my life. Still acne, so tired, never usually nap, but napping every day. Pinky making me feel sick. Sleeping at 9 p.m, which normally I would be like a 2 a.m. sleeper. I was going to bed at 9 p.m. and yeah, the smell of Pinky was making me feel sick, which was really sad. And then at 8 weeks, roughly around that time, because obviously I was slightly wrong with my dates, was my hospital episode. You know all about that. Then I wrote 8 weeks, 3 days, missed the MC Saatchi Christmas party, craving salty and savoury foods when normally a sweet tooth. Finally had Cocoa Pops for breakfast for the first time in a couple weeks. I love how I've noted every time I've not been eating Cocoa Pops. Had 2 days of feeling okay-ish, tired, but the nausea is now back in full force. 8 weeks, 4 days, GP diagnosed HG and prescribed Zomvia. 9 weeks, collected Zomvia, praying it works. 9 weeks, 4 days, Zomvia working. Able to leave the house on my own for the first time and drive. Even went to the supermarket and made my own dinner. Private scan, saw baby's heartbeat and all looking good. Dated us at 8 weeks and 6 days. 11 weeks, 1 day. Zomvia has been working miracles, but for the past week it's been wearing off by the evenings and feeling sick again. Sick on Christmas Eve at 10 p.m, nauseous on and off throughout the day, sick in the evenings before bed. Hope the sickness disappears soon, taking 3 tablets a day now. I've noted our 12-week scan. They redid my bloods that they were taken too early. Put gender blood test was a nightmare. Sickness ramping up in the evenings, acid reflux before bed and in the middle of the night, uncomfortable sleeping. Yeah, so I'm now getting acid reflux, which yeah, developed around like just before 12 weeks. It's only really in the evenings I start getting like heartburn, which I'd never had before. I think it's heartburn anyway, where you feel like the acid in your esophagus. And then yeah, when I would go to bed, I would be getting acid reflux. Sometimes it was really bad and I'd like wake up in the night with it all like burning and like in my throat, which was horrible. But I've been taking Rennies and they've really been helping. 12 weeks, 3 days. Forgot to take my 3rd dose of Zomvia. Thought I'd try and see if I would be okay. Terrible mistake. Managed about 5 pieces of pasta before throwing up 4 times that evening. Back to 3 a day. I guess the nausea sickness is not wearing off yet, because everybody said to me, oh, at 12 weeks it'll get better. And then 13 weeks, 3 days, I was sick 16 times between 6 a.m. and 11:30 p.m. and that was the hospital trip again. The latest update was extra Zomvia seems to be doing the trick. Still feeling feeling sick before bed and acid reflux waking me up in the night, taking Rennies, which are really helping. And then I've just noted a few things. Favourite meals while pregnant so far? McDonald's burger and chicken nuggets. This sounds so bad, and I've not been having McDonald's every day. When there have been times where I've been feeling really nauseous and I can't think of anything to eat, the only thing my body craves is McDonald's. And I'm like, why does it have to be craving the unhealthiest thing for me? Well, actually, it's probably not the most unhealthy thing for me, but it's not good for you. Another favourite thing while I've been pregnant is ham sandwiches. Like the wafer thin ham that I used to have all the time when I was a kid. Also, mild cheese in any form. I've been eating a lot of Baby Bells. I've been eating like mild cheddar, mozzarella sticks, halloumi sticks, any form of like mild, not offensive cheese I've been loving. Food aversions in capital letters: chicken. If it's not in batter or if it's not in breadcrumbs, I cannot eat chicken at the moment unless it's like a nugget. I've had a chicken burger and I was okay with that, like a homemade chicken burger, which is surprising that I was okay with it. I guess because it was quite thin in between bread and like other stuff, it was okay. But I even struggled to eat chicken katsu curry with like breaded chicken on the outside, because then when you cut into it, the middle was still too chickeny. That is what's affected my dinners so much, because I used to eat chicken probably like 4 or 5 times a week, just like slabs of meat. James cooked me a steak, a well done steak. Normally I'd have my steak rare, but obviously you're supposed to avoid that while you're pregnant. And he cooked me this beautiful steak and I just couldn't eat it. I had like 2 pieces and I was like, I can't. So I've really been struggling with meat unless it's like a burger or a nugget, which is so bad. Another thing that I cannot stand at the moment is roast vegetables. Roast potatoes, fine, but roasted, specifically roasted peppers and roasted onions, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. Whereas I used to love that. Also curry, like any form of curry. I used to love curry. And then in terms of symptoms, I've had acne. My eczema has really flared up. Okay, actually it doesn't look too bad right now. Yeah, actually it was a lot more red yesterday, but I don't actually really know if you can see, like I've just got, my whole inner arm is really dry. No, now that I've mentioned it, I feel itchy. Stop. I've had really dry skin and lips. Like my cheeks have been really dry. Maybe that's also a dehydration thing, but I've been trying to be more hydrated recently. My skin's just become more dry and scaly. My back's been aching. I've been out of breath more, but maybe because I'm less fit, because I spent pretty much 3 months just on the sofa. And before that I was going to the gym, whereas now I am not. Between like 6 and 10 weeks, I would say, my boobs were really sore. Obviously the sickness and nausea. And something that's really interesting is I've not been overly emotional. If anything, I feel like my emotions, other than when I have been the time in the hospital, but then I would cry about that anyway, like pre-pregnancy, I feel like my emotions have been pretty normal. I've not been crying at like every single thing. If anything, I feel less anxious than I did before I was pregnant, which is weird because I was really expecting the hormones to affect me and me to turn into a psycho, but I don't think I have. Like, I've had my moments, don't get me wrong. I've not been as emotional as I thought I was gonna be. I told one of my closest friends, one of my best friends who I've known, well, she's known me her whole life. She's one of our family friends who my parents went to uni with her parents. She was one of my bridesmaids. We told her, we went to see her and her husband, went to their house and then gave them one of like the cute little cards, and that was really lovely. We told my grandparents on Christmas Day, and then the only other thing is I got my blood results back and they said that I'm higher risk of preeclampsia, and so they've started me taking aspirin every day. But they said that a lot of people that are told that they're higher risk for preeclampsia then don't actually go on to develop it, and the aspirin is supposed to reduce your chances, I think, by like 80%. They didn't seem like too concerned about it. Basically just doing everything that they recommended. And I think that is it for my first trimester vlog. I don't think there'll be a second trimester vlog, to be honest. Maybe I'll do a second and third one combined. Like, I don't know, but currently as it is, oh yeah, I'll give you a little bump update. As the time I'm filming this, I'm like roughly 16 weeks-ish, and I've had to pull these joggers. I've had to do a Simon Cowell with these joggers because otherwise they're so uncomfortable and they like sit right on my tummy. Sorry, I'm wearing a bodysuit, but I've not actually done the poppers up. This is basically what I was wearing to the Rare Beauty event earlier, but just with a different pair of trousers. This is my bump day. I actually don't really know if you can see because of the background, but yeah, I think you can see. This is my little bump. I have definitely now outgrown all of my trousers. So like these joggers, when I'm around the house, I'll either wear them like super low down, but that looks kind of weird, or I wear them like all the way like under my boobs just so that it helps a little bit, because otherwise it's just too uncomfortable. Next week we're actually going to go out shopping and I'm going to try on some trousers. I'm hoping to find some low-waisted jeans that I can buy in like a bigger size. They have a little bit of stretch in them. I don't know, I've just got my hopes up that I'll find something. I don't have much hope. A lot of people have told me that there's not really many maternity clothes actually in shops, but I might just try and find like some super stretchy. I got some like high-waisted yoga pants which are really stretchy and they're really comfy, and then I did buy a pair of like stretchy trousers from M&S, but I've nearly outgrown those as well, just because they sit kind of like here and so it's like pressing on my belly. Thank you so much for watching this journey. I know that it's like, this vlog has not been a super positive upbeat vlog, but I just wanted to show my honest experience, my honest feelings. Like, this is my first time being pregnant. It's been a struggle and I just wanted to show that, but also show myself at the end of it, as in like at the end of the first trimester. At the moment I'm feeling a lot better and a lot more positive, and I'm hoping that it continues this way. And I know for some people their HG continues all the way throughout their pregnancy. I don't know yet if I'm gonna be one of those people. Like, I'll just have to kind of play it by ear, see how I go. Like, in a few weeks time, if I continue to not feel sick in the evenings, I might try and drop down to like 3 tablets a day. Hopefully I can try and like wean off them, but if I need to stay on them the whole pregnancy, then that's also fine. Oh my god, sending so much love to anyone else that has been through the same, or I know that other women have been through worse. Sending a lot of love to you all, because I know that it is not easy. In terms of resources, if you're in the UK, highly recommend pregnancy sickness support. If you just type in pregnancy sickness support, it's the first thing that comes up. And it actually breaks my heart the number of women that had messaged me and said they went through HG and they just thought that that was a normal part of pregnancy, and they kept ending up in hospital and they were not offered any medication. Some women were, same like I was, they were on cyclizine and they were refused to try anything else. Please, if that is your case, read the information on pregnancy sickness support. You can message them on WhatsApp. That's what I did initially, and they were checking in with me. They sent me so much information about all the different medications you can take. They sent me information about your rights, how to advocate for yourself and speak to your doctor. They can help you with a message of what to say to your doctor and like your legal rights to have access to this medication. At some point I'm 100% going to do a fundraiser for them on my channel, because they are a charity and I think that's amazing. And then I was going to say, if you are in the US or elsewhere, there is a website which is called www.hyperemesis.org. It's called the HER Foundation. They have like support and resources for if you're in the US. If you also go to the section, okay, if you press get help now and if you scroll down, I mean there's a whole load of support groups on there that you can join, but there's also a list, if you scroll down, of global HG charities and groups. Those two websites, I would say check those out if you also are experiencing HG or any of the symptoms, basically nausea and sickness that is affecting your daily life to the point where you like can't do your normal things. My camera's about to die, but thank you so much for watching. Sending you all lots of love, and I will see you in my next vlog. Bye!